This is the story of three knights, tasked with ridding the world of monsters to protect their home. They were the Lion of Light, the Wolf Pup, and the White Knight. All would suffer terrible fates. 500 years ago, a great civilization known as Khaenri'ah fell and plunged the world into chaos. Monsters rampaged forth from its depths and besieged the lands of Teyvat. In Mondstadt, the Knights of Favonius took it upon themselves to quell whatever evil lay at the heart of this chaos. 3 brave knights led an expedition into Khaenri'ah to put an end to this evil, but they could not have anticipated the insurmountable task that they would face. Arundolyn, known as the Lion of Light, was a well-loved and respected Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius, said to have been the pride of Mondstadt. He didn't take things too seriously and loved to enjoy a drink with his men, though he did what needed to be done for his city. From a long line of knights, he shared dreams of heroism as a young child with his friend Rostam, both becoming fellow knights as young men. He was naturally gifted in combat and honed his abilities through intense training. Though he bared no vision, his strength was his pride, wielding both a long sword and greatsword together in battle, a style of blade work that has since died out due to the rarity of those possessing such extraordinary strength. Rostam, meaning as strong as a river in Iranian, and likely based off the mythical Persian hero, was known as the Wolf Pup and was second in command of the knights. He was much more serious than his light-hearted friend, donning a dark mantle at night to disguise himself, as he would do what needed to be done to keep Mondstadt safe, yet could not be done by an upright knight in good standing. It is speculated that the shadowy organization Cruisley created 1,000 years ago to protect Mondstadt from behind the scenes was inherited by Rostam, and may very well be the same underground intelligence network that we see Diluc become part of, their nighttime defense of the city seeming very similar. The White Knight was the apprentice of Rostam, but is not given a name. Though he was known for his strong sense of justice, chivalry, and was a noble at birth. The maiden from the Maiden Beloved Artifact sect fell in love with him after he rescued her from danger, giving him a white flower as a sign of her affection. It seems that things were complicated in that area though, as I believe Rostam was also in love with this maiden. Regardless, none of them would have their wishes granted. Due to monsters now threatening their people, it was decided that just defending Mondstadt would not be enough to stop the endless flow of monsters that stemmed from Khaenri'ah. They had to go on the offensive. As they ventured further into the fallen kingdom, they were faced with terrible sights, though they pierced through the darkness and hordes of monsters with admirable skill and determination. When the black curses poured forth, and the roots of disaster infested the earth, the knights, on expedition in a foreign land, would face the horror head-on, their formation steely as the northern glaciers. The steel of their great swords flashed brightly, and the dark ichor fell like poison rain. This dark ichor seems to be the same as the blood that infected Dolan and gave the Abyss Mage control over him. An alien blood that seems to come from the Abyss and infect those it comes into contact with, slowly corrupting their souls. Known by some as distorted gold, it is said to be able to crumble mountains and poison the earth. After establishing a base camp, Rostam was due to lead his knights into battle the following day. Though they faced dire odds, he was a resourceful knight and leader, always having a trick up his sleeve. Always have a backup plan. He wore this headband to remind himself of that axiom. In an emergency, it could also serve as a tourniquet. By this creed, he taught his swordsmanship to the knights under his friend's command. By this credo, he also mentored a white knight who loved justice above all else. In its name, he nipped many seedlings that might have blossomed into evil in the bud, as long as he was sufficiently prepared, even if one day he should be unable to defend this land, or protect his friend, or that maiden who loved to sing. The night before Rostam was to lead the knights under his command into battle, Arundolyn advised that he come to drink with him. Though he knew Rostam rarely drank alcohol, he must have had a bad feeling about the battle ahead. "Come on, you have to try a little wine sometime," the Guardian's longtime friend and superior joked. "Quit knitting those eyebrows together. Have a little wine and song. I mean, that's how we have the courage to face tomorrow." We do not know whether Rostam took this offer up, but as he was leaving, Arundolyn said this: "If you do not return, I will not mourn you. Nay, I will toast you, and drink in your honor, just as we do today." But that was a lie. After Rostam led his knights into battle the next day, it was the last time Arundolyn would ever see his friend again. Arundolyn, the Lion of Light, was the only one of the three to return home, but the once jovial and light-hearted leader was now a broken man, giving up both his title as Grand Master and his cherished weapons on his return. Not even able to take up arms when Mondstadt was under the threat of annihilation by the Black Dragon Dolan. Such was the weight of his depression. So, what of the White Knight, the one who held justice above all else, given the white flower by the maiden in hopes of his return, and personally trained by Rostam? His journey was no better than the others, and perhaps he even suffered a worse fate. He was a brilliant warrior, wielding a gleaming one-handed sword and mowing down waves of monsters as they swarmed him, never faltering in his pursuit of justice. But even he could not withstand the corruption of the blood that sprayed out from the monsters he slew, staining his shining white armor a blood-stained black, and giving him a monstrous appearance that even frightened those he protected. As the blood-stained knight reached out to help a person in need after slaying a monster, the way she cowered in fear made the knight realize he was now a monster himself, tainted by the blood and cruelty of this drawn-out war. Shield me from the eyes of those I vow to protect, and shield them from the horrors I am bound to effect. Donning his mask, he would never show his face to the world again. He realized now that he was alone in this war, as even the knights who were once at his side were now all but a memory, replaced by bloodthirsty ravens. One of the countless raven feathers stuck to the bloodstained knight, for where there is blood, ravens shall follow. In the end, the bloodstained knight could no longer tell whether the blood that stained him was his own or that of his enemies. Eventually, on his long journey filled with bloodshed, he came to the realization his path of so-called chivalry had turned him from the white knight he used to be into the monster he'd now become. His only followers were the ravens drawn to the bloodshed he left in his wake. It is not known when he lost his master, Rostam, or when Arundolyn chose to withdraw the few knights still left alive. But the now bloodstained knight chose to stay and protect the villagers near the battlefield, refusing to give up, even as it seemed a futile effort. Covered in blood, the knight who slayed demons returned from the scourged battlefield, only to find those awaiting his rescue were nowhere to be found among the collapsed houses. Defeated, the bloodstained knight took the smoke-blackened goblet and vowed to rid the world of monsters, of poverty, and of evil. Though his sense of justice had been twisted by this blood, as his once gleaming sword, now stained black, seemed to embody in its thirst for more. A blade that thirsts after fresh blood will be awakened by its scent. Those who possess, wield, and nourish it will keep killing, till even a pure soul is blackened by bloodshed. I began to lose myself in cutting, slashing, and piercing. When my blade's edge met my foe's flesh, it sent a tingle up my spine. Ah, I thought, that must be the feeling of justice getting its due. As long as I cut, slash, and pierce the evil in this twisted world, someday it shall all be cleansed. O foolish knight, slaughter in the name of justice is slaughter still. Nay, slaughter in the name of justice is justice. Cut, slash, pierce. Thus will you see justice done. Though the white flowers the maidens offer you should be bloody black, though your sword should no longer gleam bright, though your fair countenance should turn hideous, and you should be forced to don an iron mask, though those you defend cannot understand you, cease never. And so, the Bloodstained Knight persisted on his path, pursuing monsters in the name of justice, until he came upon an ancient, ruined realm, where he discovered the ultimate injustice. Having lost his mentors, his companions, and even the hope of returning home, he chose to take a final stand and fight his way deeper into the abyss than any before him had. Deep in the abyss, where celestial bodies cast no light, the Bloodstained Knight kept his timepiece, though time had lost all meaning. At an end was the Bloodstained Knight's story, but he realized there was no place for him on this earth. He ventured into the fallen ancient kingdom and died in battle in the monster's lair. At the bottom of the world, he learned the origin of monsters that destroyed the ancient kingdom. The ancient kingdom was wrongfully cursed, turning its inhabitants into monsters. The code of chivalry tolerates not such injustice. If abyss be thy name, I pledge to you my loyalty. So, was this once white knight so corrupted by the black blood that his code of chivalry was twisted to side with the monsters and their apparent creator, gold? Or has a story been told to us that is a lie? A curse from the unknown god put upon the people of Khaenri'ah for their civilization attempting to attain the powers that could challenge the gods is most likely the answer. We have some hints that this is the case, but much of the information about Khaenri'ah and the gods is still unknown. One more thing I will save for the end, as it's something that is mostly speculation and based on a few loose threads, is the Bloodstained Knight's fate. He died, but as he sunk to the bottom of the world, he pledged himself to the abyss. Whether he did this before his death or after, it seems a rather strange thing to do. Then, as I was reading Albedo's lore, we hear about the Heart of Nibirus, a demon in the Ars Goetia. He is said to be the most valiant of all demons, and is depicted as a raven, which reminded me of the many raven feathers that stuck to the knight due to the black blood. If Chi-Chi was able to be brought back from death by the Adepti, perhaps the Bloodstained Knight was brought back as a god of the abyss, due to his burning ambition for justice, though he seems to have died again since. But that's not something we'll likely find an answer to for a long time. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider liking or subscribing to let me know. And if you have any lore subjects you'd like to discuss, or would like me to look into for a video, please let me know in the comments section below. I hope you have a great day.